What's going on, guys? This is another episode of the Ohms Lounge with your hosts, the Ohms, and myself, the Lone Salesman. And today we're going to be talking about 2022 movies and shows that we've seen. We might mention some other shows that are notable that we may have not completely finished or watched, but this is just kind of our retrospective on what's happened over the year and some next movies we're going to be anticipating. What's going on, Josh? How you doing?
Not too bad. We've been wanting to do something that was based around movies for a while and TV shows, and to my knowledge, I can't remember of anything that we've talked about, at least, with confidence. I'm sure we've talked about things sparingly, but...
Yeah, it's difficult because there's just so much media nowadays. This is the age of streaming, as many have noticed. But we're in a unique time where, as the world is kind of normalizing in different parts, we're seeing a more of a movie theater going experience returning to life. But we're also seeing like streaming dominating the media realm as well. So maybe we could talk a little bit about that with each show or movie we mentioned. I think it's a very important thing to bring up. And what's your take on the whole thing?
About streaming or just about movies that have come out and TV shows that have come out this year?
Well, let's start with the streaming thing first.
A lot of producers and stuff are starting to realize that they can't holistically rely on Hollywood to provide them the funding. And we'll go more into it in depth with like movies like Moonfall, for example, and how Roland he talks about it, and I put some notes in there about like how having original stuff isn't so sought after anymore because you have like these just titans that rule the industry, and everybody loves their Marvel films, and those are coming out. I didn't realize that they have like four a year, I believe that's just Marvel. And you also have DC kind of following suit with that, and then that's not even including like Disney Plus and Peacock and all these other streaming services, Amazon.
Yeah,
that do have like very successful comic book related content.
I think in general, when you're making something and it's recognizable, that will already be safer than creating something that is original. And that's why we see so many reboots, so many reimagining. I mean, the big ones like, Jurassic World, it's like it's a remake because it's still connected to the original. You're seeing original characters show up. I didn't mind the first one. The other two got a little ridiculous. But, they'll keep making movies until it becomes less profitable. And in general, when they're putting money into these movies, it's an investment. There's an interesting thing about Moonfall that we can get into later that maybe you didn't know. But first, let's start with some shows. Let's start with some TV shows, actually, because I think TV shows are in a different caliber than years before. I think before HBO primarily and some of the major networks had these big shows like in the 90s and 2000s that were like huge drama, critically acclaimed, but now we're seeing those come to streaming as well, like exclusively on streaming. One of the biggest returns was the IP of Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, which I was already a fan of. It had a kind of a falling out with a lot of fans over the last couple seasons of the original show. This show is a prequel that focuses on the Targaryen dynasty before Daenerys, which comes later into the story. You asked me a good question. Is if you've never watched Game of Thrones, can you watch this show? And my answer is yes. It's a prequel, so not too many spoilers to be given. I mean, maybe general social media might tell you where the story is going, but the story is very, this is I guess, generations before the events of Game of Thrones. So it's a good place to start, even if you're mildly interested.
Yeah, I would agree with that because whenever I was first introduced to Game of Thrones, or even when it was like first put on TV, like I didn't have HBO, I didn't have cable, I didn't have money for that. So now that we have things like streaming services and people wanting to watch it like in groups and stuff, that's how I kind of got into it. And I personally, if somebody recommends to me Game of Thrones, and I'm like, aren't you like on season whatever? It's like season 8 or 10 or whatever. I was like, how much time do you think I actually have to dedicate to watching a TV show so that we can talk about it? But here's the other thing about it too, is like with the way that it had ended, Game of Thrones, I did watch that because I didn't really care. I wasn't that invested in it, and I wasn't like seeking clarification on stuff because like whenever I had watched like the series finale or whatever, I was on the Reagan, and the captain, he had gotten the episode because everybody really likes that show, and
Sure.
I got to watch it with everybody, and it was like streamed throughout the entire ship. And people were, I heard people from other compartment rooms and stuff. They were just like, what is this? You know, like they were just like really, really upset. And I was just there, just kind of like, oh, why are you
Well,
so upset?
it,
Isn't this what you want?
I mean, the ending itself was given from the creator to the producers. I think the problem was the execution wasn't done very well. Just for example, I mean, the looming the whole plot of the show originally revolved around these White Walkers. You know, these beings that were coming from like the north, and they were going to breed a long tail, like the darkness. You know, it's the dark force coming. But the resolution to that whole story was very disappointing to some people because of the lead up of events to it, and the conclusions to a lot of characters is just not great, and it's not satisfying. Originally, George R. R. Martin wanted to do more seasons for the show, but the producers wanted to cut it short because they had a deal with Star Wars, Disney, to do their own Star Wars movie. However, after the failure of the show's finale, they got cut from that project. So that's just a little background there. But in general, about like House of Dragons, it just kind of really revived the show and put it back up to where Game of Thrones used to be. I think the performances from like characters like the King Viserys, Paddy Constantine, just stealing the hearts of most of the audience. You know, he just had a wonderful surprise performance that even George R. R. Martin quoted saying his portrayal was better than the book than he could ever imagine. And you have other characters, like you see the progression of them growing up and changing, and it's very interesting. And it came out again during an interesting time where you have your other show, Rings of Power, Amazon's attempt to do a major blockbuster streaming show. Personally, I felt it was very underwhelming.
My only experience with watching that show was watching it with my friend, and he was like, "Oh, I'm on episode 3 or 4 right now." Like, and I was like, "Dude, I don't care. I am not like I am not invested in the whole Lord of the Rings franchise like that." But he just likes to watch TV shows. Like if they're good, then they're good. But
Right.
I watched episode 3 or 4 or whatever, and I was just like, "What is this? Like, this is so all over the place." And the bad guys like kind of cringy, and the good guys are just over there talking about like, oh well, you came from the stars, or you came from wherever the fuck you came from.
Oh, The Hobbit. Yeah, that.
And
Oh my
yeah,
God. Yeah, the whole. It's and that's another problem with shows like this, even like Game of Thrones, right? You mentioned earlier, you know, if someone's talking about this show and they recommend it to you, you're like, hey, like, I'm not going to be able to catch up. It's very rare nowadays to find shows that are episodic in nature that don't have a progression of events that, like, even X Files, like one of my favorite shows. You can watch that show in any order because most of the episodes don't connect. There is a larger story to it, but you can watch any episode out of order and still get the same thing for the most part. And then you have the limited series. Like, you have shows that are just 5 or 10 episodes. Netflix has a lot of those. Some people get disappointed, but you have a show like Cyberpunk, which is like a limited show, had like 10 episodes, was great, and then you just leave it there. That show, you know, you do have to watch in order, but it's like, it's easier to recommend a show like that than something like Games of Thrones or even Rings of Power, because like, you watch the pilot, and if you're not invested there, then there's no hope for the show. I tried. I got to like maybe episode 4 or 5, and I understand like episode 6 is a big battle, whatever. I just don't care. I couldn't connect with any of the characters. I didn't really care about the plot. I get it. They were hinting towards Sauron, whatever. But like, if you don't care, then you don't care. And
Yeah.
I don't know. You can just see that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm glad that you brought up Cyberpunk, because with Cyberpunk, like it did not have a successful launch. Like, sure, it had a lot of people that were super hyped for it. They made a lot of hype behind it, and then it just like flopped because of a bunch of the bugs and people's consoles just not being able to play it.
Well, I was talking more so about the Edgerunners show. That's what I was.
I know, I get that,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm getting at.
Oh, okay.
Because of all these things are anecdotal to the show, because the show had revitalized it in such a way that you ended up seeing like this huge spike in player base for Cyberpunk, and it ended up producing more money, and then like it gave the people that were working on Cyberpunk a bunch of validation. And even like I forgot who it was, but I think it was like the CEO or maybe one of the guys that had a huge part in that. Like, he had put out, he was just like, I'm glad to be back, you know, like,
Oh yeah.
there's a huge thing about like having a good TV show or anything that's related to a franchise that can make or break a franchise. And they're just using a TV show to kind of maybe even test the waters, or they went all in on it and it just went. I mean, it sounds to me like they did go all in on it because of the cost. It's like $465 million for the first season. Like, that's insane to me.
Oh, for Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Yep, and I got the link right there.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll put it
because-
here on screen for video watchers. But yeah, it just seems like
gross.
an increase, a huge waste of money. I don't know. It does look good. I will say the show does look good. You take a show like The Mandalorian, it mentions right here, 15 million per episode. Whereas you have Lord of the Rings budget at 500 million for multiple seasons, not to mention the 250 million cost for the rights of the book, which they didn't even get the rights to the correct thing. The story behind that as well, but I don't know. It just overall seemed like a huge inflated project. And then you have like the lowering audience viewership with each episode. And it just kind of deflated. Like, I don't care. Okay.
Yep. And like, for a compare and contrast of like what went wrong, like what went right in regard to something that is like this, right? Like, there's a huge fan base behind it. There's money to be thrown at it. There's investors are hungry for more money, but how do you get more money is by viewership and retaining those fans and not pissing them off. So what I had put after this was the Sandman, and I would like to talk about that.
Yeah, let's get into it. Cause,
man, there's a lot.
Full disclosure. So, I was recommended to Sandman by. All right, first off, I never knew about Sandman before until you talked about it, and you're like, "This is my favorite comic book," and I'm like, "Okay, what's it about?" And it's like, okay, it's about a guy who can control dreams and do all this other stuff, right? But that was just like my general understanding, like he can control dreams or something. But then you showed me some of the art and the comic panels. I was like, wow, this is like crazy. And this is like Dark Horse Comics or DC or what is this?
Vertigo. This was Vertigo. This is a part of DC.
Yeah, I watched the first episode and it was very interesting. Like the way I was very surprised and it was very well done. I didn't finish up the show, but maybe you can talk more about this one since I know this is your.
Yeah, dude, this is my wheelhouse for sure. So Neil Gaiman, the same guy that helped out with a bunch of these other movies that I'm not going to get into because I don't really care, but they're also very good movies. Um, Specifically talking about Sandman, he's not unfamiliar with DC and some of the bullshit they tried to pull on him right after its very successful launch as a comic. Like it immediately got fucking written up for an award that only novels get written up for. The name escapes me, but I could look that up and I'll put that in post. But it's like it did too well. It did too well, and DC was pissed, and they were trying to undercut him as a writer. This is like the same stuff that had happened with The Watchmen, and that writer, he ended up leaving because they weren't paying him his dues, even though it was very successful. So the talks of making Sandman into a TV show from the comics, it's already been talked about. I remember back in mid 2010s, there was talks about having Joseph Gordon-Levitt to be Sandman. He really wanted it to happen, but things just didn't work out, either on the actor side or who's got the rights or Neil Gaiman's like vision of it. And like that is his bread and butter. He does not want what happened between him and DC to happen again. He doesn't want any type of like a law to come into it. He doesn't want to be put in court again for something that he made that DC or whoever it is that wants to have rights over is concerned. But anyway, so that like that explains a lot of things. So there was like huge acclaim to this show, right? And because of that, you had a lot of the fans were worried. They were rightfully worried because there was no confidence that the show was going to be renewed for a second season, and people were
Right.
like worried because Netflix, they were like, they haven't. I think it was probably like some clickbaity news article saying that Netflix hasn't renewed Sandman season 2,
Right.
and Neil Gaiman, he had tweeted out, he's pretty active on Twitter about like, you know, some his thoughts on the show being renewed. He's very reluctant to share that information, but sometimes I've noticed this with him is that he will drop some like hints or very obvious hints because like he's very proud of this story, right? Like this is a thing that really just made him take off. And what it was like showing was that the first 10 episode season was released in August, and it quickly rose through the ranks of the streamer top 10. It was watched for 69.5 million hours in the first week and brought in a doubly impressive 127.5 million in its second week. So in the first month, The Sandman recorded 300 million hours watched. And it was decidedly reviewed as being a really good show from not only from critics' side with an 87 and an 80 from the audience side on Rotten Tomatoes. Whether you use Rotten Tomatoes as a really good metric, I think it's still worthy to say that it's a great show because you don't really see a whole lot of that. And he didn't want to say that the show was going to be renewed for a second season because, quote, the data harvesting has only just finished. It is complicated by a lot of people not binge watching. It's spreading it out, letting this episode sink in before watching the next. And he shared on September this year that telling Netflix to hurry up won't make decisions happen faster. So he had his hands tied. He got the okay. He got the funding. He made the show that he wanted it to be. And for him to be like, all right, well, it's obviously successful. Give me the money so I can make season 2. That he already knew. And that's just like the difference between him and the audience. Because for me, as the audience, I love this show. It was very very true to like the comic source, with the exception of like a few episodes, and like the diner, for example, for those that are familiar with the show, like that is completely different from like the way that the comic is drawn out. Like
Oh yeah,
it,
how
yeah,
different?
how different? It's very woke, but it's like hilariously woke. Like I feel like they knew what the fuck they were doing. They're like, oh, dude, it was just it. Like I saw it for what it was, and me being a fan of the comic, I saw like what the diner scene was supposed to be, and then for them to do all this woke shit, it was just. And mind you, the previous episodes leading up to it, they were not woke at all. And then it's just like, oh shit, where's the woke shit? And I think that the writers and directors and the people that were overseeing it, they're like, all right, yeah, we got to throw it in there. You know,
Well,
it's part of the recipe now,
I
and so they do it in a very tongue in cheek way. That's how I felt about it.
I see, I see. Well, we have to keep in mind to they gotta appeal to everyone, and maybe that's just their take on it. I don't know.
In a very in a very
Yeah,
it seems like it's making fun of it, and but at the same time just like, no dude, we're serious. And that's how I felt about it, and that just made me chuckle to myself. But I will say this about the series, and then I'm done. Like,
sure.
after I was done watching the third episode, like I was just there drinking, and I was like overwhelmed with emotion of like how true to the story it was. And I was just like,
That's good.
This is beautiful. Like this
That's
is
awesome.
exactly what I've been wanting to happen. And like I talked to my mom about it, because my mom,
Wow.
she's the one who got me into comics, and this was like her favorite comic.
Oh,
And
really?
I was just, yeah, dude, she's a huge comic book nerd, but she loves the Sandman. And so I was like talking to her, and mind you, I don't really talk to my mom a whole lot about a bunch of stuff. And so like I was like, "Oh, did you see that the Sandman's coming out and stuff like that?" And she was just like, "Oh, yeah, I'm a little hesitant, whatever." But she was like, "This is really good." So it got the mom stamp of approval.
Hell yeah. If you know that it's got that, then yeah, it's got to be good.
Yeah, dude, this is two generations, man. Like this is so worth it. It's so
Yeah,
good.
I
I can't
remember.
stress that enough.
Yeah, I saw the trailer on Twitter when they were announcing the second season. I was happy and excited because I was like, oh, this is great. It was really well done. Maybe I'll go back and finish it. I've just been stuck between so many other shows, and I was busy at the time. But now this week I a bit more free, so I think I'll try to finish it for sure. I mean, it's
Um, this is definitely one of those shows that you cannot feel guilty about not finishing it, because I will tell you this is like I've read the Sandman series with the exception of the last episode, the last comic, because it was just it it leads to something that you know is going to happen, but you don't want to read it because you know it's going to happen.
yeah. I know
Yeah,
it.
but yeah,
Mm,
but what I do have to say about that is, mind you, that was written so long ago. Like the comic itself ended somewhere in like the mid or late '90s or something, and then Overture had came out, which is still Sandman related, but it ends in such a way that makes sense, and it's just like it's great. I love the series so much.
yeah, I will briefly mention the Marvel TV shows that have come out. Miss Marvel and then She-Hulk. There, I liked the creativeness that it tried to show at first, but you could tell that shows like that are being rushed to fit the Marvel timeline. And I can appreciate what they say in this article where he's saying, yeah, don't yell at Netflix to rush out the next season. Take it in. Like take a chance to take it in. Like I love how when I love it when streaming services give episodes every week. I don't I like it that way because it gives me time to absorb what happened in the episode and appreciate it and anticipate the next episode. Because when they just like release the whole season and you binge watch it, sometimes you just don't grasp it fully. Like, I don't know,
Yeah,
you lose something.
I would agree with you. And a very good example to that before like streaming services had that as an option. You know what they had? They had straight to DVD.
Oh,
And yeah,
oh man, yeah,
like how many good straight to DVD sequels or TV shows or anything like that have you seen that has gotten good reviews or like, oh man, this is like groundbreaking? Not a
yeah.
whole lot.
It's just like we'll make enough money off of this, and then maybe Beethoven. I don't know. Maybe Beethoven 2 is really good.
Talking about the dog,
Yeah, or Airbud.
dude, I haven't seen the very first Beethoven. I'm only familiar with Air Bud out of my dog movies or
I don't
Homeward
know.
Bound
Those are just the
or
movies
or
I
my
think
dog
of
or
that
Me and
have.
Marley. Could you imagine if Me and Marley had a sequel?
Oh my god. They just
Owen Wilson just kills himself at the end. He's just so fucking overwhelmed with the death of his first dog.
they get a new dog and it dies again. But this time it's a
Uh,
puppy when it dies.
Did you know that Airbud actually has like a superhero, like a superhero dog movie? Did you know that?
Oh my god. I mean, I know they made a Crypto movie not too long ago.
Get the fuck out of here!
Crypto, the super dog, Superman's dog.
Oh, okay. No, but I'm talking about, dude. No, these are Airbud's dogs. Like Airbud, who averages better fucking like points per game than Steph Curry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude,
Fucking. Oh
it's
my
fucking
god.
stupid.
God, man. Well, moving on to shows that I was not anticipating, but actually really enjoyed. Andor. It's a show about a character that nobody remembers from Rogue One. I was not expecting much out of this show, but actually, after watching some more content with Diego Luna, I actually really like him as an actor. I watched Narcos Mexico, really liked him in that, and so I was like, all right, you know what? I like Diego Luna as an actor, so let's check out Andor. And man, it turned out to be really fucking good. And it's not over yet. There's two more episodes, I think 2 or 3 more episodes left. It's on episode 10. Every 3 episodes has been a major arc in Andor's story, with B and C plots going on in the background of other side characters. It's kind of like the start of the rebellion. How it's like straight after, like, I guess if you want to put it in the timeline, it's somewhere probably years before New Hope, obviously, and before Rogue One. So somewhere along there, and where the Empire is like, it's already got its like control of the galaxy and jurisdiction, but people are getting like fed up. So I could see why the show might have had issues at first with the season 2, but I think that after such, it's gone kind of not viral, but more people are picking up on it. I know you did the Google Trends here on some of the shows, so you could see we picked up a few things: Andor, House of Dragons, Ring of Power, Sandman. Andor is actually getting up there pretty, especially this month because it was released not too long ago. House of the Dragon spiked, and now it's kind of going down because the show is over. Ring of Power is kind of surprisingly up there with Sandman, and you look at Sandman, probably has less than half the budget of Rings of Power, and they're kind of trending almost the same.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned like people are like, "Oh, yeah, Andor is pretty good, whatever." Um, well, that article that says none of Andor season 1 directors are returning for season 2,
Yeah.
like that's clickbaity in itself because then later on you end up realizing that episodes 5 through 9 of a series each have a perfect Rotten Tomatoes score of 100%.
Oh man, though those
Yeah.
episodes are probably my favorite
I
Because
haven't. I don't think I got into those, but because it's been a while since I've watched it, I didn't realize like the show was still going on. I thought it was done.
it just gets really fucking good, man. Like, cause Andy Serkis shows up as a main kind of a main side character. He's got a good performance, and just like basically without spoiling too much, the last five episode 5 through 9 is kind of like a prison break. Like he's imprisoned, and he's trying to find a way to get out. And then
Oh, I
episode
think I have seen those then. But yeah, those are really good.
yeah, I mean before that too, the well, there's three main arcs. So there's the first arc where he's on the planet and he's, meeting up with Stellan Skarsgård or whatever, and he's asking him to join his mission. Empire's on his ass because dude ass snitched on him. And the second part, they have a major firefight with the Corpos. Corpos get fucked up. And then the second act is they're attacking the Imperial base. And then the third one is he's in prison. Now I don't know what the next step is going to be, but I'm
Well,
excited.
I mean, it's a lot, man. Like they had so many directors. I wish I had the link to it, but I have the article pulled up. And regarding first season directors, it had it's been directed by Toby Haynes, Susie White, Benjamin Caron for the first three episodes, and then 4 through 6 was by Karen or Caron.
Yeah, I mean there was a few episodes that did kind of drag. Like I think it did lose some interest even for me a little bit. I was like, don't care about these new characters they're introducing. But then the action starts. It gets good. It's just really surprising. I don't know, like compared to the other Star Wars shows, like Mandalorian, I'd say it's up there. Boba Fett was okay. I felt it was
I
didn't
like Boba Fett.
it was all
I thought it
right.
was funny.
Yeah, it was fun. It was just like I don't know. I didn't like how they did some things, but it's fine. It is what it is. Like
Dude, can we talk about the consistency that they have as far as like prop design and shots
oh
and
man,
like
yeah.
the buildings, dude, that has to like just say a lot about the franchise.
Yeah, I mean they definitely have that Star Wars look that they're trying to preserve that was like from the 80s. It's in the 70s. That old school futuristic look that's just a part of that time. It's very unique.
It's timeless now.
Yeah.
It's here to stay.
I think it looks great to be honest.
But yeah,
It's a
dude,
good
like
look.
it is. But ending on Andor, like it did recently get the approval for season 2. And so with that, they're, they they had already let readers know that that season 2 is going to be the end of it. It's going to be the final.
That makes
And
sense.
yeah,
It's not a show I can see going for a long time. I mean, even this show, like honestly, the 12 episodes, I'm surprised because like when Kenobi came out, it was only 6 episodes. This almost feels like it's 2 seasons itself, or it could be like I don't know, like maybe they just decided to put as much as they could since it's only 2 seasons instead of dragging it out. Maybe we'll meet more characters that were from Rogue One, like the robot, KSSO, and some of the other team members. So that'll be cool. I
yeah.
mean,
So they're already looking into starting up production, I believe. Let me double check really quick here. I think they said they're going to start shooting when enters production the Monday before Thanksgiving. So next week, they're going to go fly out to London and do the first shoot for the next season later this month,
wow.
before quickly turning around and heading back home for the holiday. So Season 2 was starting for November production start. Yeah, so I think it's going to be another year, I would guess, before we start getting like a good. Well, I wouldn't even say a year out, but I would say more 90 days from November for us to get more information about Andor and when it's going to be released. Because I'm only going off of what I saw from Moonfall's interview that Roland wanted to shoot the entirety of the movie in 70 days, and that's him with a very limited budget. That's him being like basically crowdsourced. So they could drown it out, or I mean, drag it out, but they have 15 million. That's already been established. They know that's what works, and they have a schedule to abide by. And they have a shit ton of other movies that are in TV series that are coming out that are related to Star Wars, like a lot.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, it's just a huge IP, and they're getting as much as they can out of it. I mean, after the success of like Force Awakens, they've just been kind of keeping it going, despite how the movies performed. I think the TV shows have been doing exceptionally well.
Yeah, I would say so. Where was it? This one right here.
Speaking of
so like because of
yeah.
Oh yeah, go on.
No, I mean I mean these shows take time to make, and going back to House of Dragons, a lot of people were upset to find that next season is going to be coming out in 2024, 2 years, I guess. So kind of a long wait, but
it is. But if you want something done right, you can't rush it, right?
Right.
Yeah, but going back to Star Wars, they were like talking about like all these things that are kind of done like years before the fall of Andor. So like Return of the Jedi stuff, like that time period. What I saw that was very interesting was that they want to go back 100 years before the entire Skywalker saga, showing them a different part of that galaxy.
Yes, the show is called Acolyte. Yep. It's supposed to be not the old Republic. It's kind of the old Republic, but not really. A lot of people want to see an old Republic story. Yeah, going back and just because I mean, get away from the Skywalker stuff. You know, give us something new. That I think that's good in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree because like they got one of the Watchmen writers to work on this stuff.
Oh wow!
And yeah, I'm really excited. Damon Lindelof. And I love the Watchmen series. Like, I like the TV show. I like the movies that they put out. I like the books. Like, there's nothing that I don't like.
Yeah, it's
so
a good
for
series.
That to be part of it, I'm like, all right.
Especially if you like
cool.
blue dicks.
Yep, that's true.
Yep.
Love them. Nice and flaccid.
Nah,
on the moon. Kidding. Zero gravity. Floating around. Nobody's business.
Put on some pants, please. Like, nope.
I'm a god.
But I'm happy to hear that. I think it's going to be interesting. More to come, you know. So far the shows have been doing well. Let them at it. I think we could shift gears here. I mean, we haven't seen every single TV show released in 2022, but those are just the shows that we've seen and kind of like wanted to talk about. Overall, I'd say is I like the combination of streaming and TV show things. One, for TV, the streaming is convenient because you can watch it anywhere. Don't have to wait till a certain time. You don't have to record it. You can watch it whenever you want. And the production value is much higher because it's more privately sourced, I guess. So, like, I feel like directors have more of a freedom. They don't have to deal with the TV network. It's like, oh, yeah, we can't have this. We can't have, you know, like, there's less people involved. It's just the creative teams. Besides, of course, Disney or whatever, whoever they're working for, Netflix. The second thing I like I said it before, I like the episodic nature of things. I like waiting each week to see an episode. One bad thing that can happen is you leave yourself susceptible to hackers, torrenting. I feel like picking up again because people don't want to pay for 4 or 5 different streaming services at once, only to watch one or two shows from each. So it's I think I'm seeing a rise of different streaming apps or, torrenting sites that are being used. One thing that happened with Game of Thrones was the finale episode got leaked one day ahead, and it was on all the torrenting sites for that day before it was officially released on TV and HBO streaming. So
I got
it's
a I got a I got a bit about that.
yeah,
So, do you think, like, you remember, like, when your favorite series, like, let's just use The Sopranos as as an example. Like,
sure,
the entire
sure.
show is completely fucking done, and you can go and buy the entirety of The Sopranos, and you can just binge watch it for like a month. Like, do you think we're gonna go back to those days at all? I mean, because DVDs, people are like, well, like whenever I talk to my friends, I'm like, yeah, I went to go buy a DVD of what was it? Freakazoid. They're like, why are you buying DVDs? I was like, have you tried torrenting Freakazoid? You can't fucking find it. And then they're like, oh damn, really? And I was like, yeah, really, man.
Yeah.
Like, if I want something, I want it, and I want to watch it right then and there. Like, why should something that's been gracefully made be tucked away behind internet accessibility?
Yeah, I mean you're right because there's actually a lot of things behind that because many of these streaming services don't always have every single piece of media that show or thing produced. I know there was some backlash with HBO or can't exactly remember, but there were some cartoon shows that were like cut that were now no one knows where to watch it at. Um, I used to own DVDs for Godzilla movies, X Files, and I would love the DVDs because I would pop it in, watch it, and then snooze to it. I could put it in whenever I wanted. This is before streaming. I did like it like that. Yeah, I mean, there is something nice about using a DVD. I mean, we use it in my wife's car when we're on road trips. We have a little DVD player for my daughter. She can watch stuff. I don't want to stream while I'm driving because that'd be expensive internet costs. Like I don't know.
True.
You could download the movies on your tablet or whatever, but having everything there at once, yeah, maybe it's a time. Maybe it's
Yeah,
like
bring him back.
our generation. Yeah, bring back DVD. They still do have Blu-rays, and because here's one thing for many people is if you don't have the perfect internet, you won't always get the perfect streaming quality. So for some people, getting a Blu-ray or DVD, well, mostly Blu-ray, is much better because, especially, who's been doing that a lot? A
No
lot,
idea.
a lot of B movies. A lot of these distributors, they get a bunch of these old B movies that no one used to give a shit about. That used to be on only VHS. They'll buy the rights to distribute it and put it on Blu-ray.
Huh.
They'll even clean it up and make the quality better and everything too. Because if it's shot on film, you can raise it up to you can raise up the quality as high as you want because film can go pretty high in resolution depending on how it's shot.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah, I mean there is something to be said about physical media because it's something that cannot be lost. I mean, it can be lost and destroyed. You do have limited prints and distribution. If something's not available on streaming, like you mentioned, Freakazoid, then what do you do?
You got to go and look for it online and buy it. And I bought it for
Because
a
what
hundred
what
bucks
network used to was it Disney Channel or
for Freakazoid. That was
yeah
all on, I believe, Cartoon Network, because
or
that
f-
was done by
or not
Steven
Cartoon
Spielberg.
Network? It was Fox. It was the Fox cartoon. Was it FX? I believe.
I don't know.
I don't think
I've
it.
only ever seen it, I think, on Cartoon Network.
Yeah. Well, you would think. Yeah. I don't know. It gets
Yeah,
complicated
because it
on.
had Warner Brothers. It had Warner Brother like
Ah, okay.
characters
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
the time in it.
Well, because I know, yeah, Animaniacs too was same creator, same Warner Bros. I don't know. There's something going on with Cartoon Network now. I think it's going through some changes itself as well. Yeah, I would like to go back to that. Realistically, will I see it happen? Maybe, Maybe we'll see more Blu-ray releases, hopefully. That's something we could hope for.
That would be something, or maybe just like an entirely brand new digital media that we can have physically. Like, like the super tiny like CDs that you would get
Yeah.
for like the computer
Fuck it, put it
for
on
like
a
installing drivers.
yeah, put it on a
Like
micro SD card. Put it on a
that, yeah, it's kind of like Nintendo's approach to things nowadays. But even then, they're just like, what's the fucking point? I feel like we're wasting wasting material by making like this plastic case.
well, to argue with that, how much does it cost and how much does it to the environment to have a data center dedicated to holding all that and streaming media,
Well, that's
setting up
for a
infrastructure?
different, yeah, that's for a different conversation entirely because I'm not knowledgeable on that. But what I will say is that all they're really concerned about is money, and I think the environment comes second. But that's just me being jaded.
No, I mean it's true to a sense. Let's switch to movies real quick. I think we talked a lot about kind of the topics of streaming and stuff. And we'll quickly kind of glance over some of these movies. Like to start with
List them off. List them off, bro.
well, hold on. All right. So just a few movies to worth mentioning that we've seen in 2022. Doctor Strange, the Elvis movie, Thor Love and Thunder, Moonfall, The Batman, Prey, Top Gun Maverick, and next month we're going to see Avatar 2. And also, Black Panther just came out as well. I think I might go see that tomorrow. But, yeah, there's a lot of comic book movies on here, and a lot of... I didn't really get a chance to just see like new movies that are just originals or whatever. These are just some of the movies I kind of wanted to see, some of the movies you wanted to see. Let's quickly go over Marvel stuff. Let's talk about Marvel and Batman and DC.
Well, to be honest, here, let me start off by saying, like, I guess we really are kind of proving the point that there's like there's a saturation of Marvel movies or just superhero movies. And the movie that I did see before Doctor Strange came out was Moonfall. And I liked it. I liked it a lot, even though I saw like there was a shit ton of like bad reviews or whatever, but I watched it with my friends and I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was a really, really good movie.
It is honestly a Roland Emmerich is a very particular style of how he makes movies. He's made different types of movies as well. However, I just don't like it that much.
Well, in comparison, this is the same guy that made Independence Day. I've never seen the movie, but I feel like a lot of other people have.
Independence,
have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it, and they did they did the reboot a couple years ago. It did okay, I think. But the plot to this movie was just, I don't know, it's so fucking stupid in my opinion. I just couldn't. I think it was just so outlandish that I just couldn't enjoy it. Like it was just like a bad B movie that got somehow like a big budget with this disaster porn shit. Fuck it, we'll just talk about Moonfall for a bit because I want to just get this out of the. I want to get this out of the way because I don't like.
Yeah, dude.
Like it was fun to watch with you guys, but I would have never watched this by myself or gone to the movie to go see it.
I would have paid for this over like something like fucking Kung Pao and the Fist. Well, so all right, going back into this.
Well, let me go
with this. Go on.
No. Let me just go to your point about the Marvel thing because it's a good point. What a lot of people were thinking was that during COVID, they thought movie theaters were going to be gone. Some people thought like, yeah, what's going to happen is all movies will come out on streaming, and then maybe like Disney will have like theaters still open or something. Like only the big movies will be in theaters. Now it's going back to normal, but it is like Marvel, DC comic book movies in general have kind of taken that blockbuster movie thing. Before it was just like all these different type of movies, like you'd always have your big summer movie. I think even Transformers, that used to be the thing. Transformers was the big movie every summer or whatever. And then like Independence Day was a big summer blockbuster movie. Trying to release that movie again, do people have an appetite for it? My understanding is I don't think so. But you liked it, so hey, maybe
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Because, like, here's the thing about that movie. And I was, like, reading the interview, and I had no idea. But he was saying that he had, like, read this book from, like, the 1970s or 1980s. And it was, like, talking about, like, the whole idea of having the moon as, like, an artificial satellite or something like that. Something that's completely alien. And he was talking about how, like, all these scientists or calling him a kook and stuff, and like nobody can do any type of like independent like research or something like that. And his whole thought was like, oh well, I mean, if scientists hold all the truths and information, then who can we really trust? Just the scientists? Doesn't that sound funny? Yeah, exactly right. So like I thought it was funny from that perspective, and like it was kind of fitting because like we're coming toward the ass end of COVID. And so when that movie came out, there's like a lot of kind of that stuff incorporated into the movie with a bunch of stars I didn't realize were actually in the movie. And I don't know, I had a fun time with that movie. I loved it a lot. And I don't know, I hope to see more. And after like reading the article when we were doing the research for the podcast, he does make that point. He was just like, where are these original movies now? Because you have everything that's based off of, you know, shit from past time. Like, I'm looking at some of the stuff that are going to be releasing next year, right? You got John Wick 4. You got Mission Impossible whatever. You got Indiana Jones 5. You got fucking Transformers. Dude, there's more, but we'll talk more about that later.
To be fair, though, I think that the Mission Impossible movies in particular, sometimes they're very well done. And, you know, you can complain about, oh, this movie, why are they still making it? Well, it's because it's still making money.
I just want a new franchise, man.
I get it. I mean, they did that with John Wick. All. John Wick is fairly new.
And it's doing well.
And
I'm tired of John Wick now. Make a fucking video game or something. Aren't they doing that?
Something. I mean, I will admit, I watched John Wick 1. I liked it. Watched John Wick 2, and I'm like, okay, this is the same thing. I'm done. Like, I don't need to see more of this. I'm sorry. I liked it.
It's just gun porn for the AR-15 owners.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Going back to Moonfall.
I'm already over it.
Okay.
I think I had to say my piece about Moonfall.
All right.
Let's go into the movies.
Okay, we'll talk about more of the movie. But overall, Moonfall, you liked it. I didn't. It is what it is. I want to talk about Elvis real quick because I think it's a huge standout movie.
Okay.
It's a biopic. They're popular now. I mean, we've seen one with Queen. We've seen one with Elton John recently. The Queen one was okay. I enjoyed the... Elvis was fantastic. The main actor was great. The one thing I didn't like was that Tom Hanks was in it. I felt like everyone else belonged and looked like they were part of, you know, like, okay, we're watching his life. But then you see Tom Hanks and it's just like, I don't want to see him. Like, I want to see someone else play him. I don't know. It's just kind of distracting. And I know he wanted to play the part. That's just what happens sometimes. It didn't ruin the movie. I just think it was a huge... it was good. It was a good movie overall. Like, it was cool to see Elvis. It was kind of cool to see a kind of a summary of his life. Not everything's 100% accurate. They took some artistic liberties here and there, but I think, you know, my dad was over and we watched it, and it was just a cool movie to see with the fam and enjoy the music. And they do, like, kind of show, like, oh yeah, like, all this wasn't original. Like, there are some, African American influences on his music. These are the people who helped influence him. So it's not like it's saying, oh, it's just, look at Elvis, he's a badass. Like, it's very humbling. And then it shows you how he was held back by his manager, the colonel or whatever, and all of that drama. So
I don't know, man. You know what my favorite Elvis movie was?
What?
Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep. Ah.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell. You know, like whenever he's like explaining that in the '70s he grew tired of being famous and switched his place with an Elvis impersonator,
Oh my
and
god.
now he's in a well, not a mental hospital. He's in a caretaker's home or something, and now he's there with this guy that claims to be John F. Kennedy, but he's black. But he only skin dyed himself only after the assassination attempt.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. And now they're having to fight a reanimated ancient Egyptian mummy that was stolen during a U.S. Museum tour. So, and this is all in East Texas. So I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that movie's really good.
But it's not. But I mean, those are two complete. I mean, one's a comedy and this one's kind of a biography. But I mean, you look at the Weird Al movie that's coming out, and that one's like a mix of the two. It's a complete farce. It's a biopic, but it's a comedy, which is fitting for Weird Al. You know, I think it has its place.
I think it definitely has its place even now, more than ever. Come on, dude. We had the preliminaries this month. Why not bring up black skin tanned
John F. Kennedy.
JFK and Elvis?
You know, comedy movies, that is one thing I do kind of miss. It's just one thing that's always kind of missing. They don't always make money. So, but it's nice to go to see a comedy movie with your friends or in the theater just to get a laugh. I mean, I don't know. It's
great.
It's nice to have.
Yeah, instead of having to like come out of the movie theater and like complain about like, oh no, that actually isn't correctly related to the comics in any type of canon way.
Oh,
it's
God.
pretty stupid.
You know, I could care less about like Marvel. We'll talk about Doctor Strange real quick because that was earlier in the year. I think overall it was I liked it. There was a lot of cool stuff. I liked the first Doctor Strange, the effects, and he's a cool superhero in general. I think he's, you know, it's cool to just see him do his thing, the magic, and all right, we're seeing him have his own movie again and seeing different worlds, and they hint and after actually the Marvel, did you watch the Marvel What If?
I did.
So after I saw that, I was really hoping to see, like, especially from that one episode about Doctor Strange, seeing some of that in this movie, and you kind of get it, and then you kind of don't. You see a different version of Doctor Strange later on, who he fights in a very unique way, and I overall had fun with it. Some people didn't like it. I liked the fact that it was directed by Sam Raimi. There are some cool effects, especially when he was reanimating himself.
Can we like give a shout out to Sam Raimi for picking up some other directors' dog shit and then making it into what it actually is?
Well,
like the old director, he decided to like call it quits or whatever. I don't know what the reason was.
Creative differences.
There you go. Something as generic as that.
It's just because probably what, you know, I mean, I don't have the full background, but often what happens is Marvel has a very particular way they want to do something, and
they hired Sam Raimi.
They'll do it. I mean, he did Spider-Man. Of
course.
Everyone loves Spider-Man.
That one cut scene from the original Spider-Man, you know, like when it looks like you're going into like the brain and it has like the nucleus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Did he actually reuse it?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
I fucking saw it because I was watching what was it, Red Letter Media Club or
something?
Oh
yeah, Red Letter Media. Yeah, they was like, yeah, it's the same clip.
It is. And I watched it just like a couple of months, like either a month before or something, and I saw it. So I was like, that's it right there. I know it.
That's funny.
It is.
I mean, hilarious. Why not, man? I mean, I would have liked to see the show or the actually, I mean, fuck it. If you haven't seen it by now, that's on you. But I think Wanda, the character, stole the show. It should have been called Wanda. It's not even like a Doctor Strange movie. Wanda,
Very
stole the show.
Mother.
She stole the fucking show, and especially when she assassinates the Illuminati, fucking kills
Mm-hmm.
everyone. I was like, this is awesome. Like this is awesome. Like
Oh, dude,
this
I
is
was
like
not expecting that.
I loved it. Like it was just like, man, this is like probably as violent as it'll ever get for a Marvel movie. Fucking snap, the way she kills Xavier, um, Peggy Carter, what's his face, the
All
Mr.
these motherfuckers.
Fantastic. Everyone, she just fucks them up. It's just fun
The
to
guy
see
from The
Jim.
Office.
Yeah, Jim gets turned into like spaghetti paper. I was like, damn, that's funny. Like, I don't know, it was just funny.
Finish your food.
It's weird
The
how he.
meatballs.
Oh my. What mouth are you talking about? And then he just like implodes. Yeah, like it was just so cool to see. Like I was like, damn, this is nice to see Marvel take some risks. Because most of the time it's just like the usual formula. This one felt a
Mhm.
little different.
The
And
audience is getting older.
yeah, I mean, not every movie has to be PG. But Thor: Love and Thunder kind of took a more fun approach, I guess, a more comedic approach. Did you see it?
Never seen it. Never seen it. Wanted to because I wanted to go and see it with Midori, but we never got around to it. We did see Doctor Strange together though, and she was just more or less impressed with like the audience because she says that Japanese audience they never say anything.
Oh no,
but we
very
had
quiet.
American audience in
Oh
there,
yeah,
and they were like, "Oh my god," just like stuff like
yeah.
that.
Oh man, when
Yeah.
we went to go see Spider-Man, that was like probably one of the best theater going experiences I ever had. When
Yeah, it's fun, right?
when we saw Spider-Man, yeah, Far From Home, it was fun to see everyone, especially the kid crying when Tobey Maguire got stabbed by Green Goblin.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, but
remember-
going back to Thor,
Going back,
to Thor.
going back to Thor. A lot of people kind of got fed up with this movie because the jokes were kind of nonstop, got tiresome. The director kind of made some offhand comments about the VFX artists, and people were pissed about.
Dude, fuck that guy.
Well,
He doesn't have their fucking job. He doesn't have the technical skill to do their job either. So how can he fucking criticize them?
yeah, and then another controversies were coming up as people were saying that the VFX teams were being overworked. Marvel, they outsource to these different companies or whatever, and some people made some memes about it. When the kid shows up in like this dream thing, it looks really awkward. Other people make fun of Doctor Strange when he has the eye grow on his forehead. But the movie, I mean, fuck, man, people nitpick that shit. But then when you go to like the world of gods, and then you see Christian Bale. Christian Bale, by the way, he just kind of like hammed it up. Like he had fun with it, and he was like, I don't know. That was the biggest thing though, was Christian Bale's whole backstory was very dark and kind of fucked up. But then half the movie was jokes, screaming goats, and like silly stuff. So.
Oh, so they didn't really do him justice because like that is something that is totally Christian Bale. Like after watching American Psycho recently, I was like, yeah,
well,
he does that shit really well.
Well, he's like, his character is played straight for the most part, but everything else is very silly.
Jokes.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
So,
That
like,
doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Because like, all right, so like he kidnaps the children. He kidnaps like all the children left in New Asgard, and like fucking uses these creepy shadow creatures to take them, and then like Thor is like joking with them while they're in this cage somewhere in outer space. Like, hey guys, can you tell me where you are? Where is this, like space or something? We're like, I don't know. Like, don't worry, guys, you guys will be safe. And then like Christian Bale shows up. He's like, yeah, It was just so like, I wanted to care about these kids, but then like it just didn't seem serious at all. Like, oh, they'll be fine, I guess.
Oh, kind of like how we end up having all these Mexican kids get picked up by the border.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh, yeah, these kids, what are we ever going to do?
Yeah. Oh, they'll be fine. We'll put them in cages. It's fine.
It's fucked up, but yeah.
They got the tinfoil blankets. They got the space blankets. They'll be fine.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck, man. But yeah, overall, it was okay. I mean, they're setting up some more stuff. I just wish it was edited a little bit better, or at least
Like in what way? Like as far as the storytelling
I
aspect was?
I like Chris Hemsworth, and he really likes being Thor, and the stuff with Natalie Portman too wasn't bad either because she
Oh
played.
yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah, it's female Thor movie.
Yeah, and her whole backstory is, she has cancer. Then when she touches the hammer, she gets healed. Later on, they have to make a decision. It's an interesting way. It was a really, I will say that it was a really weird way they ended the movie. That is leading to something I don't know what they're gonna do because I guess even Chase DNZ the character they mention is kind of like brand new because it's called Thor: Love and Thunder, and Love is actually the name of a character at the very end.
What?
Basically, spoilers. Skip like 15 seconds ahead. The main bad guy, Christian Bale, his daughter died when he was So he goes to Space God and makes a wish, and he wishes for his daughter back, but he ends up dying. It was like a trade-off or whatever, because he realized that whatever, because the sword he had was like corrupting him. So instead of killing the god, he just got his wish and then died. So then Thor adopts his daughter, and now they're like fighting aliens in space or doing whatever. And she's like a fucking god herself who can shoot like lasers from her eyes and even wields her own axe. Like it's just like, I guess what they're trying to do is set up like kids Avengers or the young Avengers, some shit, because you have the Hawkeye show, you have the young Hawkeye, you have all these other younger superheroes showing up. So, and then you have Ant-Man coming up. I think that's next year, but even his daughter, Paul Rudd's daughter, she's like getting her own fucking Ant-Man suit. So it's like they're setting up something. Because obviously these actors can't live forever. But contrary to all Marvel bullshit, and I am a little excited for Black Panther. It's sad what happened to Chadwick Boseman, but the show must go on. I think they'll do a good homage to him, but we'll see.
Oh, you mean like that Sprite commercial where that guy ends up opening up his fridge and finds a portal to Wakanda?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a great homage. I like that one actually.
Oh man, I don't know. I'll go see it and I'll tell you, and then maybe we'll see. But contrary to that shit, the Batman, man, you talk about a good fucking movie. That movie was fantastic. Just I was not expecting Robert Pattinson to do as good as he did. I don't see him well as a good Bruce Wayne. I think he would have been better as Batman Beyond. To be honest, I wish they just did that.
I would agree with you.
Like
I was talking about that shit today.
Dude, like imagine you get either Christian Bale or
Wait. Who's the get off my lawn kid? Get off my lawn guy from Gran Torino.
Clint Eastwood.
I want Clint Eastwood as old Batman and
or Michael Keaton Michael Keaton. He played
sure.
Whatever. Get an old Batman and then have Robert Pattinson be Batman Beyond. That would be the
perfect,
awesome movie. But no, they gotta go do. Okay, we're doing the origin story. At least they skipped the origin story and they just kind of went straight in. He's like, "I'm a fucking badass. I'm gonna fuck you up." And then at the end, he's just like, I'll try to be a hero, whatever."
I like how he didn't change his voice either.
No, yeah, that's good. That's the only bad thing about Christian Bale's Batman. It's just like kind of like, okay, can you stop? Can you talk normal?
It's comical. It's too comical.
It gets a little ridiculous. Where's the trigger device? Swear to me. We
Oh
live
god.
in a
I would
world
say like
full of people who are willing to do the good thing. Like, what? Joker.
I'd say dude, I would say like the funniest things
Where's
about the
Harvey?
Christian Bale Batman. Like my favorite thing was when who was it that played Bane? Batista?
Oh no, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
You
Yeah, it
were
was
only
Tom
born
Hardy.
in the darkness.
No, dude. My favorite thing
Oh.
about him was when he was there at like the Capitol Hill or whatever, and he puts his hand on the mayor's shoulder, and he was like, "Do you feel like you're in control right now?"
Do you feel it? Oh my god, dude. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, dude, I love that one so much.
Yeah, well,
Like-
it's sad because they wanted to bring back Heath Ledger, but he passed away, so they had to come up with something, and that was the best thing. I think it was good for what it was, and compared to this Batman, it's very dark and stylistic, kind of like how Tim Burton was. Back to kind of like old school detective Batman, which is cool to me because I felt like this Batman felt more as a detective than some of the other Batman variants.
Dude, you know what? I'm glad you say that because you know what I've noticed is like, I mean, we've already fucking talked about spoilers, and anybody that hasn't seen the Batman, fine, turn off the fucking podcast. It's like you need to watch this movie and then listen to what we're talking about because this part right here is so fucking stupid to me. Like he is going after the Riddler, right? He goes after the Riddler and he finds all this bullshit. He finds the room and then he goes to jail to go find and talk to the Riddler. And then the Riddler thinks he found him out. And then the guy just like talks to him behind like a fucking bulletproof glass. And he's just like, oh, you're not as smart as I thought you were. And then part of the fucking city already blows up. And then he's like rushing over there to go and save these motherfuckers. He gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And then you know what like the fucking funniest thing to me was? He was just like, oh, I'm getting my ass whooped. Oh shit. And then he pulls out this syringe and then he just like injects himself with it.
Oh yeah,
And
when he
it's
goes,
like liquid meth. Oh yeah, dude.
That I don't understand where that came from.
Dude, it's lazy writing is where that came from.
Maybe it's
That
supposed
shit
to
is
be
funny.
like a precursor to like Bane, I guess.
I fucking guess, dude. I mean, if that was the case, I don't see that shit ever coming.
Yeah, when he was beating
around.
the shit out of that one dude, and then Catwoman was like, "Yo, stop!"
Where is this coming from?
Like,
I understand.
baby, please stop it.
Yeah,
I mean, can't complain with the new Catwoman. I think she did good.
she's hot. She is a good looking person to play as Catwoman.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you know
it's a
what?
good character.
I love it. I love it.
Hopefully, we see her again, even though she rode off in the distance. She's like, we can't.
I mean, that's how Catwoman is, man.
I did like how Robert Pattinson was at first, where she's like, "Oh, isn't there something else you want?" It's like, "Yeah, I want to stop the Riddler," and she's like, "All right, whatever."
Just
Like that.
completely
I mean,
just
that's kind of
fucks
classic
himself.
Batman. He's usually like very like, like
Fuck pussy. Unless it's what's her name? Raja Abdul or whatever.
oh yeah, Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
yeah,
Yeah,
Raja Ghul. Yeah, dude. Like she's the only one that can fucking like.
Well, I
give
think
him
in
some
some
pussy trap.
I think in some comics or Batman has fucked Catwoman. I think that remember there was that a while ago they did that animated movie too where everyone was talking about how Batman went down on her. That whole
Oh my god! Yes, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Why don't we talk about that more?
Oh.
Batman doesn't do that. They were so mad. Batman doesn't eat pussy.
Yeah, like who cares, man? Like he's fucking dude has needs.
Bro, he saves the goddamn city, and you can't allow him to eat pussy. Like, what are your prerogatives here?
There was this other like clip where like young Robin was talking shit to him. He was like, "Why are you dating criminals?" She's like, "She's not a criminal anymore. She's better now." It's like he's like, "Yeah, whatever." It's like make sure you use protection.
Oh my god.
He said,
Oh my god.
But yeah, the new Batman. It's a very popular IP, and it's annoying that they reboot it as much as they do, like Spider-Man or other shit. But
Times, dude.
I mean, at least 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I mean, if you count Adam West, you count Tim Burton, and then
I'm counting.
Batman Returns, and then uh, George Clooney one, Christian Bale, now Robert Pattinson, and then
6.
not counting the animated show too. Rest in peace to the voice actor. He just passed away actually. Kevin Conroy just passed away, the voice actor for Batman. Several adaptations he played the voice, so rest in peace to him. So we've seen a lot of Batmans lately, so we'll see how Robert Pattinson progresses. So moving away from comic book movies, let's talk a little bit about some of the other successful movies. One of them, Prey. We'll briefly mention. I wanted to mention Prey because it's was released specifically on Hulu, and it was kind of like a big, blockbuster. It's based on the Predator series. People actually really liked it. I didn't get the chance to see it fully. I remember I've watched all the other Predator from Predator 1, 2, Predator vs. Alien. I have also seen Predators. I remember we were rewatching it at your house, and your friend fucking fell asleep on the couch.
Yeah, it's a good movie, man. I love the Predator series. I think it's like really fucking funny. Like, who was it? It was the one with like a voodoo gang in there and stuff. And
I think it's Predator 2.
oh, is that the one? Danny Glover or Donald Glover?
Yeah, it's Predator 2.
Yeah, dude, that was like the best one in my opinion out of all the other ones I've seen. And I would say like a close tie to that would be the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Really?
And that show just yeah, dude, yeah, absolutely. Because like it's so macho, right? But I like the Donald Danny or Donald Glover one because it's like for like the first 30 minutes you completely forget. It's just like
Yeah, it's not a Predator.
completely.
Yeah, he's not in the movie.
Yeah, dude. And then like he just like shows up.
Yeah, I guess Prey is, kind of like that. It's about the Native American woman and how they deal with it. And some people were complaining because, like, oh, how does they overpower a predator or blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. But the way they did it, I think was very tastefully done. There's even a cut of the movie that's actually translated in the Native American language. But, of course, since it's a Hollywood movie, it's in English for most of it. And, I mean, you gotta give it some artistic credit. It's like, okay, we get it. Like, it's not going to be. Some people don't want to watch a movie like that. That's just how it is. I don't mind
Yeah, I
reading
mean they made it
subtitles.
inclusive.
Yeah. So, and then you have on the contrast to that Top Gun Maverick, which was released in theaters and was now sitting at top 11 highest grossing movie.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to do that
I
well.
wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that either because like it basically made more money than Titanic did, and I was looking into it. I was like highest grossing non superhero movies or whatever, and
Top Gun has to be it.
Titanic was number one for the longest time.
Yeah,
up
Titanic
until-
and even Avatar, which we'll talk about later.
yeah,
And I think Top Gun, people were just looking for that kind of movie. Like that was like especially people who don't want to watch a comic book movie. Like that was a movie to bring people in. And cool thing about the first Top Gun is actually the Navy saw record high recruiting numbers after that movie came out. So maybe
the very first one or the second one.
the first one.
Yeah,
So I don't know if it'll inspire people nowadays, but
I hope not. I'll be damned if I have some. I would feel sorry for the motherfucker that is underneath the command of somebody that got inspired to join the Navy and be a commanding officer because they saw Top Gun 2. At least in our day and age, I could only imagine how bad that would go.
yeah, I mean, I think the movie had a lot of charm to it. Even my wife was like, she knows the Danger Zone song too.
God.
So I was like, oh my dude. Yeah, she was like, oh, what's that one song? I'm like, oh, you mean the Danger Zone?
Oh my god.
Dude, she was, oh yeah, that one. I wonder if it's in the movie. I'm like, of course it is. They have to put it in. So it's a product of the time, and sure enough, it still holds up. And well, obviously it's newer, and part of the plot is they have to use the old planes because whatever. So I appreciate it for what it is, and I think it's just something the world needed. Tom Cruise is like, I don't know, he's got that star power. There's not too many actors that have that star power like Tom Cruise does. So I think that kind of played a little bit into it. Even newer generations, everyone knows who Tom Cruise is. Like, I'm sure some people might not know who younger generations might not recognize, like people like Nicolas Cage or some actors. But yeah, I just want to like find that contrast because like you have two movies there. One's dedicated to streaming, and then you have one that's like released in theaters only for a period of time, and they both do well. So I think there's a space for both type of movies. However you handle it, it can make money in the theaters or streaming. Now, last movie we're going to talk about is Avatar 2.
Oh man.
So,
Nothing
how
like
much
some
would you
Pocahontas and alien stuff.
how much would you pay to become a Navi?
A what? Oh, like a blue person?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well,
What?
dude, this is how long it's been, man. Like, when did that movie come out? Like in 2000? Yeah, 2009 is when that movie came out. And then if you were to fucking say that in the same context, I'm like, what did you just call me?
Like, wait, what?
So, yeah, all right. So there's the confusion right there for context. But now that that's been hashed out, I would say I would pay if I was a disabled veteran that had lack of his lower extremities. I'd pay 10,000, or at least I would ask the government to pay for it, and then yeah, I'd go from there.
But I mean, like, can you imagine? Like the movie. See, that's the thing, right? How can we not remember a Navi, but you know what a Jawa is, right? Like,
I mean, this was made like generations after.
I'm just saying, like Star Wars. I'm just saying when you're comparing like like the IP, Star Wars is just like timeless, and then you have Avatar, which was like kind of a product of its time. I think Titanic is a little bit more memorable, just because how much of it's thrown in your face. Like, okay, we get it. They love each other, and the ship saying, based on history. Avatar, I was never too interested in it. I like the story. Dances with Wolves, it's a classic story. Dude gets he joins the Native American tribe and kind of like gets engulfed in the culture, and he sees their ways, and now like kind of like is integrated with them, and you see the same thing with
dude,
the.
it's just it just sounds like.
I mean, what are they going to do for
like
Avatar 2?
theme.
Yeah, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, because you have that, you have Dances with Wolves, you have Last Samurai, which is evidently a white dude, also Tom Cruise, and then you have Avatar 2, some guy that's just like, oh, I want to go and join a tribe, but I want to be a blue person when I do it.
Yeah, I don't know what Avatar 2 is supposed to be about. Is it just him reuniting all the...
Yeah, they don't really fucking talk about that.
I don't
know, dude.
I haven't gotten an idea of what it's actually about. All I see is them swimming underwater, and then I see
and like, here's the thing that I found, right? Like, from the article about it, they're like, the goal is to tell an extremely compelling story on the emotional basis. The filmmaker said, I would say that the emphasis in the new film is more on character, more on more on story, more on relationships, more on emotion. We didn't spend as much time on relationship and emotion in the first film as we do in the second film. And it's a long... Dude, this is like a 3-hour and 10-minute film. And they had to scrap like 15 minutes of it. And I don't know how I feel about that, because if this is going to be some mushy shit where you're like, oh, I love you, but I know you love me, and I know that I'm not really a true blue person. I have to use technology to be a blue person. I'm gonna walk. I would walk out. I would just turn it off.
I mean, Batman was like close to 3 hours.
Yeah, but that was actually fun to watch.
True.
Like, there's just something about there being like, if it's gonna be on emotion and not action, I'm sure there's going to be action. I'm not saying that, but if the goal is to have more Avatar movies in the future, and he even said this, James Cameron, he was just like, if we end up passing Top Gun, then that would pretty much solidify Avatar 4 and 5. Like, we need to earn around $650 million domestically, raking in a similar number on home media sale. But while this number is a high number, it's still not enough to come out on top of 2022's box office charts, because Top Gun made $700 million in its theatrical run. So
right.
If this movie makes 650 domestically and raking in a similar number on its home media sales, then you can anticipate Avatar 3 and 4 being written, is what I'm getting from this, unless I'm reading it wrong.
Fuck, man. How long is it going to take? It took fucking almost... God, how long to...
2009 minus 2022.
Fuck, man.
This is a long time, dude. 11 years? Am I doing math right? 13 years.
13. Fuck. Like, people weren't born. There's children who are old enough to see this movie who weren't born to see the first one. Like, fuck.
Yeah, and then they're already like anticipating 650 million. Dude, I don't know, man. I'm not confident. I'll put it right here. I do not see them hitting 650 fucking $million.
I think
for like as much like radio silence as they've like given everyone. Like, I don't see it. Given it's the same thing with like Top Gun, I guess.
Well, really, it's a good time. Well, here's one good thing: is it's released in December, which is a really good time to release movies. He figured that out a long time ago when he released Titanic. December is a very good time to release movies. So it's the summertime, because it's around the holidays. You have nothing to do. Go see a movie, whatever. Are you going to see a 3-hour movie? Maybe. I would have to be... That's something that I honestly think would be better on streaming.
Yeah.
Don't... Like, you look at the movie The Irishman. As much as Martin Scorsese bitches about fucking streaming, how it's ruining cinema, no one's going to go see it like that movie in theaters. Like, at least not everyone.
Intermission.
Yeah. And most movies, theaters might not even accommodate that. So,
I mean, if it's in the movie, then they're going to. They have no choice.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. You know, I think nowadays people do have a longer threshold, because you do have people sitting there binge watching TV shows for hours on end. So I think it has changed. Yeah, at home. True. When you're at the theater, yeah. I don't know.
That's a tough one.
It's hard to say. But overall, I think I'm not confident in Avatar. I'm not confident that the video game made by Ubisoft will be any good. It'll probably be shit. Ubisoft has been not great lately. I mean, they've just they're like the most mid game developing company ever. I mean,
they are being looked at to be bought out by Tencent, which is
that would be crazy.
People that own Riot.
Yeah, that would be fucking crazy. I mean, I do like. Here's one. The IP I do enjoy is like Far Cry. I do like the Far Cry series. Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six.
I like Rainbow Six a lot too.
Division, yeah, it's okay. Watch Dogs was interesting at first, but then the newest game was shit. It was okay. It was fun for what it was. Yeah,
But
I mean, the game is like okay. We've seen games based on movies before. Sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's just like a quick grab. Then you have this fucking Harry Potter movie game coming out where everyone's fucking ecstatic for because everyone wants to.
I want to be part of a house that I want to be in. Yes.
Yeah, I like Harry Potter, but I don't think I'd see myself playing a game about it. I used to have a Game Boy game. It was fun.
I bet you were a hippogriff.
Oh my god. Hippogriff.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. I bet you really wanted to buy those stupid fucking jelly beans when you were a kid.
I did buy the jelly beans when I was a kid. I did. I legitimately did. And I bought the Harry Potter trading card game too.
You know what I actually really liked was the Harry Potter Legos.
I liked playing Harry Potter for PS1. That was a really good game, but
you know what?
Yeah, that's it.
The one game I did play was it was like Prisoner of Azkaban. That one was cool. I mean, honestly, some of the games are fun, like if it's following the movie, but like I guess there's an appeal to like being your own wizard, exploring Hogwarts and the wizarding world. If Ubisoft can emulate that, but like who wants to be a Navi?
I don't know.
There's someone who
Homeboy was saying like
people want to go.
They
They want to go back to Pandora. Like, okay, make an open world game about Pandora and building your own tribe. That'd be kind of cool.
I want to put my tail tentacle genitalia into somebody else's tail tentacle genitalia. That better be a feature.
I think that's how they mate. I can't remember.
Yeah, it better be.
I mean, there's going to be some shit on Pornhub.
Somebody's like they're going to VR port it.
Yeah, or they'll just dress up or some shit. Oh no! I captured my own Navi. My 7-foot tall Navi. Don't step.
Their sales report actually shows, like, from all the data harvesting, that the majority of the people that actually end up playing their game are people that love the Blue Man Group. And the Smurfs.
Oh my god, the Smurfs. Dude, Smurfs and Navi collaboration. Avatar.
Calling it.
Papa Smurf, she's way too big for you.
Oh my god.
Oh no, Smurfette's been taken by the Navi. That one bald dude comes up too. He's like trying to cook the Navi and the Smurfs.
I don't know, dude. I mean, so going back onto the game, because I don't think we talked about that. So I ended up finding, what was it? So this article was written 5 years ago, right? So Ubisoft partnered with Lightstorm Entertainment. They're the same people that ended up working on the development of Division. And
yeah,
and alongside with Massive Entertainment. And then you end up going back to this recent shareholder thing where we're going to be releasing Frontiers of Pandora in 2023 to 2024. We've committed to delivering a cutting-edge immersive experience that takes full advantage of next-gen technology, as this amazing global entertainment brand represents a major multi-year opportunity for Ubisoft. And that just sounds like bullshit to me, because I think even they're aware that the game is... the movie isn't going to do as well as they think it's going to do. And then they're going to be relying on the video game to kind of make up for differences. And I'm like, why... I don't know. There's just a lot that I don't agree with. I'm like, just release the game, have the money, get the shareholders or whoever it is that's going to be investing all this money into it anyway. You might as well even get like people that actually want to play the game. I mean, with there being Twitch streamers and YouTube streamers and people making content, why not expand on that? Like, this game has been in development for the past 5 years.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Here's some good comments from Mason. He's not here, but on the Google Doc, he says, "Will falling humanity when it inevitably come up to the secret easy mode again, like it did in the original Avatar game? Will it have stereoscopic 3D? And also have a silent protagonist?" That's a good point. Like, are we going to follow the main story? Or are you going to be like a random other Marine or some, like, how is it going to work?
I'm glad that you read that and kind of gauged it as that, because, like, I didn't understand what he meant by silent protagonist.
Yeah, like when you're a character who's just like part of the story, like you're a small part in a bigger story, and you don't say shit. You just kind of like follow actions. Like, oh, I'm glad you're here. Here, I need you to go to the Great Tree and collect the Dragon Rider so we can go attack the humans.
Quick, put your tail into this flying pterodactyl and mate with it.
Here, I'm going to tell you how to throw some spears.
Oh my god.
Hold the left trigger button to aim.
Oh no.
And then
I don't want this. This already sounds like shit.
You can see the projectile because you have secret marine technology implanted in you. You can see the arch of the javelin. The longer you hold the left trigger, the stronger it'll be.
All right, I'm done talking about this.
Collect 15 Navi fruits to get an upgrade.
It sounds so stupid.
We need to clear out this territory. You have to fight the boss too. Fight the same sub boss 5 times.
I always thought that shit was so stupid. Like, in the original Avatar, they're like trying to fight like all these Apache helicopters, like basically like.
And the robot is so stupid.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny how the robot has like a giant knife for some reason. Like a giant combat knife. Like, at least like in Gundam, like it's like laser swords. It's kind of cool. Like sometimes they have giant melee, but the goofy robot was funny, and the Colonel was just like really wanted to fucking kill the Navi. I don't know.
Dude, it's just Pocahontas in the future with blue people. That's all it is.
Yeah, John Smith. Okay, yeah. You also watched. I'm not excited for Avatar. I don't know. I don't care.
I'm ready to shit on it.
I will
all of the 3 hours. They better fucking release it on stream.
I don't think I'll watch it in theaters, but yeah, I'll stream it. I can't sit. I'm not interested enough to go see it. But let's talk about that movie you watched, Barbarian.
Well, hold on. I got a comment. So he was just like, collect your copies of Ferngully to teach humanity about why they should love the Na'vi. Dude, I love Ferngully.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who said that Avatar was a ripoff of Ferngully. Like,
yeah, the sludge monster.
But I mean, it's just like, okay, the story's been told many ways, different times, so it's just, how many times can you retell it before it gets like old? I think people were just obsessed with the immersion. The CGI looked very good. The world, they were immersed in all that. That's, I think, was the biggest selling point. But whatever. Enough about Avatar. Let's talk about Barbarian 2022. I didn't see it. I don't know much about it. I know it's a horror movie. And according to your notes, it has incest mommy fetish monster kills Airbnb attendants, police that suck at their job, and Detroit is basically a Fallout hellscape. Sleeper hit, apparently.
Yeah. That's basically the movie in a nutshell.
Okay.
And they had a $4 million budget, and they ended up breaking in $44 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So...
Okay.
I mean, I think it's fucking funny.
Would you recommend it?
I don't know. I mean, if you're like a fan of some like shitty B movie that like for modern times, I would say yeah. I would say yeah. Go see it.
All right.
Have a laugh. Turn it on in the background.
It's not. I thought it was a horror movie though.
It is. It is a
But it's
horror
like
movie,
funny.
but it's like it. It's funny if you look at it like that.
I see. Okay. Before we end everything, why don't we talk about some movies that we're anticipating for 2023, starting with Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Oh my god! I
I'm
don't
just
have
kidding.
any expectations for that fucking movie.
Well, you already mentioned a few, like Indiana Jones. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was okay. I think
Dude, there's
Harrison
like we were talking about this offline, bro. Like,
Harrison Ford's a little
look at
too
it.
old.
Here,
But if
I
they
will
bring back
say-
Shia LaBeouf again, then I guess I could see it working. But I don't know.
All right, we're here. Let me rattle some of these off. So Ant-Man, excited for.
Yeah,
John Wick Chapter 4. I haven't even seen like the third one. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
that one will be
Excited
good.
to see that. There's Fast X, more family.
Fast and Furious
Dune
10.
2.
Dune 2,
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
excited for. Meg 2.
Dude,
The Meg.
fuck that. I don't fucking care about Dune. Give me fucking
Dude, you need-
Hyperion. Make Hyperion a fucking movie other than Dune, because Dune sucks.
Dune does not suck. Just relax.
Dude, Dune sucks. All right, fuck you.
Oh my
Fuck
God.
Anybody that thinks. That.
Dude, there's so many things that were inspired off of Dune, okay?
I'm the next fucking coming of Jesus.
I mean, that whole...
I'm a
Okay, that
prophet.
whole aspect, yes, it is a little...
It's fucking stupid.
But, alright, fair enough.
And that's all I have to say about it, and that's why I don't like it. But
I'm-
anyway,
I'm excited about
Shazam.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer? What the fuck is that?
It's about the guy who made the nuclear bomb.
Oh, really? I hope he says the thing.
Oh my god.
Legally Blonde. There's going to be another Legally Blonde. I'm excited about that. I like the first two a lot.
Blue Beetle.
I don't care
Wait,
about
Hunger
Blue
Games.
Beetle.
What? Oh yeah, fucking Hunger Games.
Cocaine Bear.
Creed 3, I'm excited for.
I haven't even seen the first two.
They're
Star
pretty
Trek
good.
4, I know that one's going to be really good. They never really fuck up those. Equalizer 3, I like it.
Oh, Extraction 2.
Expendables 4 with
Hell yeah.
Homeboy that was in, what's that one fucking classic? Raid Redemption. It has that guy
Oh,
on
the
it.
Korean guy, huh?
Dude, yeah, he's in it.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, what? Dude, this is going to be so good.
They have Napoleon. Oh,
Dungeons and Dragons.
Harold and the Purple Crayon. What?
What? Why? Okay. All right. Where's the very hungry caterpillar? I want that one to be written as a horror. He just eats people.
Oh my god. Ferrari. Rebel Moon? What is that? Equalizer, who cares?
I like the Equalizer. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mutant Mayhem. Is that like an animated one? Is it gonna be
I
like
don't know. There's Craven the Hunter. I'm excited for that. I like Craven. He's really cool.
Yeah, they teased him at the end of Spider-Man. The Little
There's
Mermaid.
Evil Dead Rise.
Everyone made a big fit about that.
And there's going to be Barbie.
Barbie seems...
It's got what's his name?
Ryan Gosling
Yep.
and Margot Robbie.
Well, there's more than a few movies to watch.
Yeah, I mean,
And then there's also
this
there's
feels
the fucking Winnie the Pooh movie.
yeah. Transformers
one.
too. Transformers is coming back.
Dude, I don't give a fuck. About
I don't care either, but you know
robot.
what? It's just nice to see like normal movies coming out in a. I Guardians 3 will be dope. Hopefully James Gunn's still working on it. I don't know. I'm excited. I am and I'm not. I don't get to go to movies often, but when I do, it'll be nice to like look forward to some of these.
Ooh, you know what? One really crossed. I really looked over.
What?
Rebel Moon
What
has
is
Zack
that?
Snyder as a Zack
Oh,
Snyder
really?
is the director, and it is a young woman seeks out warriors from other planets to fight the tyrannical armies terrorizing her peaceful planet. So hopefully that one's really good.
Sounds kind of dope. I wonder what it's based
Yeah,
on. Actually, even
I
seeing
don't
some of
know.
like the images, it looks kind of like crazy. Oh, it's
Yeah,
got
it
the
looks
guy
pretty
from
good.
Sons of Anarchy. That's cool.
Oh, Charlie Hunman
Yeah, Anthony
or
Hopkins.
Hunman,
Anthony Hopkins is a voice actor.
Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, dude, he's cool. Ooh, Jimon Hounsou. He's gonna be General Titus. I like him. I think he's really cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, and who is this lady? Miss Bay Duna? Dude, she's hot.
All right.
Wait, what movie was she in?
I don't know.
She was in Take Care of My Cat. I loved her from that.
I have no
That was an
idea.
old school movie. So Take Care of My Cat was like this old Korean movie that my mom really liked, and it's
Oh,
mind you, this is like from 2001. I'm surprised, dude. I'm so glad to hear that she's still doing movies. Now she's got herself a really good spot.
that's
Yeah,
good,
dude, I'm
man.
excited. All right, I want to keep this one in my pocket.
Take care of my cat.
No, not Take Care of My Cat. Rebel Moon
Yeah,
with Miss Bay Duna.
gotcha. Oh, it's an Inchon. That's cool. Take care of my cat.
It's a good movie. I highly recommend it for
Uh,
anyone that hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I like movies like that. It seems like a coming of age story.
Yeah. Yeah, slice of life, whatever fucking thing you want to call it.
Well, overall, just to wrap this up, 2022 was the comeback of theaters. Streaming still had a large presence for shows and movies. Next year, hopefully, we'll see some more originals and movies that'll help get people in the theater. For Avatar, God, I wonder who's going to stream that. It'll be
Um,
expensive as fuck to have. I bet maybe Amazon. I'm guessing
you
Amazon.
think so? You think they have the money to? I mean, I thought they had like recently
Let's
lost
see
like $1 trillion.
let's see who's streaming Avatar now. It's on Amazon Prime. Oh well, to rent. I don't think it's free, but you could rent. No, not HBO
If I was to
Max.
guess, if
You
I
have
was
to
to
rent or
guess,
buy it
like
on Amazon Prime. That's what it says. On
for
Disney Plus?
Avatar 2?
No, like just the first one. I'm
Oh.
just predicting like if the first one can be streamed.
Well, I mean, Comedy Central had South Park on Netflix and then it had it on Amazon.
True. I guess it depends. A lot of movies are just like go instead of straight to DVD. I think now it's just like straight to streaming. I think that's just the
It's a
new trend
good comparison.
because the way I see it too, it's like they'll keep movies on the theater. Like they'll move shit to streaming as soon as possible nowadays. Like once it's out of theaters, it'll get straight to streaming. Like pretty close. Like I remember having to wait like you'd have to wait at least 6 months to get a fucking movie on DVD. You remember that shit?
Yep.
If that.
It was always released on like Thursdays or Saturdays or something
And then you
the day
remember like
before Fridays.
Disney would do like the exclusive like VHS tapes too. They would
Vaguely.
well, they had like they would be like, "Oh, this is your last chance to get this VHS, and then it's going to be locked in the Disney vault." Like, like I don't know. They made it seem like it was a
Oh, you know what? I remember what you're talking about. Like
yeah,
it was like that blue screen, and then they're like, yeah, I remember.
yeah. So I mean, nowadays it's like, okay, well, you can stream this whenever you want. Most movies, or buy it on Blu-ray. I I don't know. I think hopefully Blu-ray is here to stay. Physical media, streaming will have its
Hope
place as
so.
well. To wrap it up, again, I guess I did say I was going to wrap it up, but in general, we're living in a time where we're still in between, I guess, media outlets. Not everything's centrally streaming. Not everything's still centrally the movie theaters. Depending on the movie and how it might perform, it might be better to stream. It might be better to have in the theater. I think it's nice to go to the theater sometimes just to get like a good, like maybe not everyone has a good sound system or a nice TV, but if so that way it's better to just go to the theater. But maybe you have a nice setup at home. You got speakers, nice monitor. You can just watch it at home comfortably. Like you might have your own home theater set up. So it really depends on the person. Or let's say you're trying to do a watch party with your friends who are living halfway across the world. Best way to do it is on streaming. You know, you can't go to the theaters with your friends if they're different zip code or time zone. So, what's your final takeaway on all this, Josh?
I think it's fun, man. I'm really happy that we finally got to talk about movies for a change, and instead of like all the video games and indie talk and stuff like that we've been covering a lot recently, or whenever it's not space animals. But,
we'll have some more fun topics.
Yeah, dude. I think this one's been a long and overdue topic that is way more up your alley. But yeah, this one's really fun. I can't wait to see like what's going to happen for movies next year. And I would like to see what anybody else's take on these movies are, good or bad.
Yeah.
Give us some love, some fan mail, hate mail, whatever.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some more of these or do some B movies. I don't know. It'll just be random. I guess it's just been so hard to find a good movie to talk about, and maybe we could do this like a yearly thing where we just talk about movies we've seen at the end of the year or something, you know, something fun.
I would like that. I think our friends would like that too. And if they like it, then I think it's a good gauge of what the audience, our listeners, would like. So
yeah,
I don't think it's a bad idea. I'd like to keep doing it.
Hell yeah. Well, stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time in the next episode of Ohms Lounge.
Yep.
See you later.